They all know America is open.
Welcome to Law and Border, Root of the Invasion, and we're going to take you where Kamala Harris refuses to go. And show you the root cause that the left doesn't want you to see.
This is what secure in your country looks like.
You're watching Law and Border with Ben Bergquam. This time, our Law and Border team will continue that journey over treacherous mountains, through countless water crossings, across swamps, and through the beautiful jungle to show you what the mainstream media doesn't want you to see.
Made it to the top of the big mountain. You got flags from all over the world and garbage. Garbage from all over the world. Look at this. Disgusting. You know, we had talked about bringing an American flag and putting it up here. But honestly, it just makes me sick. This whole thing makes me sick. I wouldn't even want to add an American flag to this. It's like celebrating the invasion. Look at this. We are in pristine jungle. This is pristine jungle. This is what they've turned it into. All of the climate change, hysteria, Greta Thunbergs, Klaus Schwab's, radical leftists, open borders leftists, Democrats. This is what you turn the jungle into. That's your handiwork right there. You're disgusting. It disgusts me. How you doing, Blue?
Exhausted, tired. It's been really high, really exhausting. Couple of apparently 9 hours of hiking. Everything has been uphill.
And we're doing it as fit guys on our own.
Yeah.
And we got heavy packs, but
Heavy loads.
imagine kids.
Yeah, this is bad. Don't do it. It's the only thing that I can tell you now that with our experience as Ben and I, we're doing it right now. My advice to you, stop. That's my advice. Stop. Please. This is not worth it. Even the people that they are prepared, soldiers from Center Front, they get exhausted. This is basically suicidal. You guys are risking your lives. It is not supposed to be like that. Migration is supposed to be safe, orderly, documented, and peaceful.
And legal.
And legal. This is not that at all. So stop, please.
What's he think about kids getting trekked through this?
It's the evidence that this is not a travesty for young children. This shouldn't be for children. You shouldn't be putting what is this kid?
One.
I mean, like less than 1 year old, he's saying?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be putting a kid through this. This is not a travesty for a child. It's unbelievable.
This is incredible. That's the natural height of the ground. Where he's standing is where illegal immigration has dug the ground down to. That's how many millions of people have come through here. Look at that. That mound is what's left of the original ground here. All of that, it's as tall as I am. And then you look over here and the ruts are 3 or 4 feet deep. That's how many people have come through because Joe Biden invited them.
The environmental impact of these open border policies is enormous.
And this is more evidence of the death that's caused by people inviting people to do this journey. That's a tent. More than likely, they were camping on the side of the river and they got swept away. We see it over and over and over again. Don't come this way.
They were camping right here in locations. There were around 300 people.
Wow.
In this place.
So this is a spot where the commander here has been many times. They stop here because this is one of the major mountains, difficult mountains to climb. So a lot of people, they're exhausted by the time they get here. You know, we've been hiking for several hours just to get here. And depending on what route they started on, they could be on day 2 already. But this is what they've turned it into. And you know, you've got videos, a lot of viral videos out there of this spot. Really beautiful place. These old growth jungle trees that are just basically trash cans now. The whole thing here just destroyed. It's human waste. At one point, over 600 people were camping at this spot at a time. And they'd be coming up the river, and they'd wait here and then camp and then go upstream. But then the problem is a lot of these people are the ones that got swept away because they were putting their tents, like you can see right here. This is a little bit of high ground. Some of them are putting their tents right down on the base of the river, and the water on flash floods will actually come up to those roots. And if you're down below that, you're dead. There are a lot of stories here. Millions of people coming through, being invited. Bottom line is, if we didn't have the invitation, they wouldn't be coming. We've got to defeat these countries, help them save their own country, because this can't continue. It's just destroyed. Environmental disaster everywhere. And on top of that, this is where you can see they've been washed away. They've put their tents down by the side of the river. Yeah. And just washed away. It's so sad. Kids' My Little Pony lunchbox. It's so sad. I think about my daughters. I can't imagine bringing them through this. It's such a nightmare. I mean, we're fit, and we're on the first day, not even halfway through the first day, and it's a nightmare. Add to that, you got kids being taken and sold and molested and raped and everything else. It's like just the innocence of kids. It's just pray for this evil to stop. Pray for these kids. Condoms everywhere. About to head up the mountain of trash. I just everywhere you go, it's like this. We got Trash Mountain here. We just came up. We're about to head up the steepest part. Really, when the weather's really bad, a real dangerous part. And then you have on this side some of the most beautiful old growth jungle trees, beautiful trees. Check these out. They're just being trashed. Massive. These are also the ones that in mudslides sometimes come down. Totally deadly, but everywhere you go, just kid's toy. This is what breaks my heart. Baby shoes, maybe 1 or 2 years old, being brought on this hellish journey by parents that have been lied to, just want a better life. I understand that. You don't have a right to steal it. But I really don't even blame the people coming. It's the people that are inviting them that are putting this child's life in danger, and all the other women and children that are being brought along to cover up the drugs, to cover up the cartel, to cover up the terrorists. That's what this child was used for. And who knows what else.
Ben and his team set up camp for the night where hundreds of thousands have come before.
We're camping where illegals camp along the river. We're in the Darien Gap, day 1. And yes, if you were wondering, that is mypillow.com, promo code Frontline. Because why would you not want to get the best night's sleep in the whole wide world when you're in the Darien Gap? Oh man, I almost fell asleep. It's good. It's a good pillow. There's a whole bunch of other good stuff too. And also, it's just the fact that Mike Lindell is a patriot, fights for our country. Support him, buy the products that he sells. mypillow.com, promo code Frontline. Love you guys. Stay tuned for day 2, exposing the left, shining light in the darkness. Ben Bergquam, out.
Stay tuned for more Law and Border as we continue through the Darien Gap.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Call 800-581-7352.
Welcome back to Law and Border, Root of the Invasion. Nothing like a little jungle cooking. We rejoin Ben, Oscar, and their Centerfront escorts as they continue on one of the most dangerous journeys in the world.
By the time we got our hammock set up last night, it was dark. But just to give you an idea of what we were sleeping on, yes, all that colorful stuff below us on the jungle floor is trash. This whole area has just been completely trashed.
Where is the outrage from the left?
Layers of it. Bags and feces and condoms and clothes and tents and...
As usual, we hear nothing about this from our mainstream media news sources
That's what
in
you're
America.
Doing, liberals. And all down the riverbanks, all up and down the river. It's just everywhere. Every time it floods here, all of this garbage flows down the river into the ocean and then up onto the tribe's beaches. Or in this case, we just went over the Continental Divide. This stuff's flowing right into the Embera villages. So this is the source of the river, one of the tributaries of the river that they live on, that they bathe in, that they get their water from, and all of this water flows down into their villages. Not a peep from the left. Heading out day 2, being escorted by Centerfront from the beginning of the Darien Gap to Canamambrillo. Really the point of the story this time, Oscar and I, Oscar's right there, telling the story of Centerfront that no other network is told. They always ignore them, or they treat them like our Border Patrol and only say bad things about them. But these guys are warriors. They're special forces, the guys we're with, and they're fighting a battle here, fighting against narcotics, fighting against human traffickers, and it's only getting worse because of what's coming out of Washington, D.C. So stay tuned. Oscar's getting some amazing interviews with these guys, stuff you've never seen anywhere. Day 2 starts now.
As they begin day 2 of their journey, Ben and Oscar can't help but think about all the souls who have walked this trail before. They also wonder about the unknown perils that lie ahead.
We came across a dangerous spot, now we're going back across. That was the road less traveled for a reason. Look at this, what a sweet swimming hole if it wasn't a bunch of trash flowing down into it. Look at this. Man, if we weren't in a hurry, I could spend all day swimming in that swimming hole. It's just sad what they're doing to it. These are not backpackers, in case you're wondering. So talk to us about the 2 routes. So we're on one route and we had the markers. How many routes are there?
Pasamos ahorita por otra ruta que me comentabas. ¿Cuántas rutas tú has visto y cuántas es las que has pasado?
Desde el área de Capurganá que entra al área de Panamá, Darién. Hay infinidades de.
Saying that there's hundreds of routes starting from Capurganá. After Capurganá, also there's routes inside Capurganá that they will divide in other routes into Panama. I have crossed the routes over here. Also in Anachacuna, there's this route that it will take us to the point break of Banderas, and then after that to the migrant camp, the grandpa, el abuelo. And then after that, there's another route that we've just passed that it opens up like in a Y to the west of the mountain. There's different routes that you can take to go to pass the Darien Gap.
How much increase in traffic has there been since the controlled flow was implemented?
¿Cuánto ha incrementado el flujo migratorio desde
No ha disminuido, por decir la cantidad, porque ellos no son insurgentes ni nada.
In reality, the control flow has not slowed down. And as a matter of fact, you know, it's a little bit out of control.
What does he think the solution is?
¿Cuál tú crees que sea la solución para esto?
En realidad, por aquí pasan tantos migrantes con diferentes ciclos.
There's different causes. I cannot give an opinion or a hypothesis of that because every country has different problems. Venezuela has their own problems. Haiti has their own problems. Even we have seen a lot of Asians coming in. They have their own problems. So for me to give a hypothesis or a solution, we need to solution the problems, or we need to understand the problems of their country so we can fix this problem right here.
It's another massive water crossing. You can only imagine how deadly this would be when the water is 10 feet higher in the rainy season.
Imagine sleeping in there. The wetness and the... sick.
And constant wetness is only one of the miseries that the jungle happily provides.
Give the analysis that this was a migrant camp, that it was flooded by the river. It says, yes, due to my experience, this was flooded by the river. You can see the parts of the tents and the clothing, how the river grows all the way to the top. And if you can see, the back part is the river grew all the way to the top of the mountain.
So this is what's dangerous when they sleep down here for flash floods.
Eso es lo peligroso cuando ellos duermen en un lugar que piensan que es a salvo, pero no lo es.
Correcto, así que nadie tiene una reacción de salir de ahí.
It's a catastrophe, you know. Yes, a lot of the migrants think that because the river is low, it is safe here, but you don't know what happens late at night when it's raining on top of the mountain and then the flood comes. A lot of them, they close their tents and it is impossible for them to get out and it's impossible for them to run. Yes, you know, inevitably the answer is no, don't do it. And if you've got to think about it twice, think about it twice. An elder man or an older man or a younger man, they can get out of it. But imagine if you're traveling with your children can get wrapped up in the tent and the current can sweep them away. So, you know, as a responsible parent, do not do it.
Not to mention all the garbage that's destroying their jungle. The death by flooding.
From steep and treacherous mountains to seemingly endless mud bogs and swamps.
You just got to go through it.
With every step, you pray that your boots aren't separated from your feet.
No, here through the mud.
And it's back to yet another water crossing. As the journey of misery continues.
We think the center front chopper might be looking for us right now for some reason. It's circling all around us. Hasn't come over the clearing yet, but we're expecting it any second. Not sure why. It's the only thing we can think why a helicopter would be circling here. We spoke to Guerra, who's leading us here, and he said he thinks it's probably just another operation that Center Front's doing. Could be searching for drugs or surveying the jungle, but typically something like that with two choppers is more in depth. So shows you how close the action is to where we're at right now. Drug smugglers all through here using the human trafficking as a diversion. Long journey. Whatever you do, if you want to come to America, don't do it this way.
The Law and Border team comes across a hat hanging in the jungle that reads, "En los pies de migrante," which translates to, "In the feet of the migrant." It turns out that the hat is a reminder to passersby of an old adage, one that states that you should never speak poorly of another unless you've walked a mile in their shoes.
Do the feet steps look like they're going up or coming down here?
Near the end of the day, after 10 to 12 hours of continuous marching, exhaustion and delirium begin to set in, and all you can think about is getting to your next camp.
Oh, maybe this cuts off like miles of the river. Oh, that's no joke. And then it disappears. What the? I mean, as long as we're staying on the river, that's the key, I think.
And just when you feel like giving up, out of the jungle, the next camp.
Arriving at Camp 2 there, and this time we're actually going to stay with another one of the platoons. They have a camp out here in the jungle. We're gonna go meet them. Another long day today. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Different for different reasons. Yesterday was all mountains. Today was all river crossings and some mountains. A little backtracking, but we made it. Not a bad place to have a camp if you're gonna have one. Yeah, they've come out to greet us.
The night of day 2 comes to an end, and the morning of day 3 begins when Law and Border returns.
Race car drivers change lanes very fast, but with no outside mirrors. How come they don't crash? Introducing Angel View, the new wide-angle mirror that reduces blind spots. Angel View simply snaps over your car's rear view mirror. giving you a 160-degree view behind you. Ordinary rear view mirrors are small and flat, but Angel View has a huge mirror with curved glass. This convex shape allows you to see both blind spots with one glance. And with our Pro Edition special coating, it's anti-glare at night. Get your Angel View now for just $19.99 through this special offer. But wait, this may be your last chance to get Angel View at this low price. There is a strict limit of 2 Angel Views per order while supplies last. Order now.
Call 1-800-490-9816. That's 1-800-490-9816. Or visit getangelview.com. So call 1-800-490-9816. Order now.
And we're back as Ben and Oscar begin their 3-day trek across the Darien Gap in Panama.
Getting ready to head out.
And Ben contemplates trying to reset his broken toe.
I'm just wondering if I should pull it out. Try to reset it.
Then, all of a sudden in the distance, they hear something down by the river.
As we woke up this morning, getting ready to head out. Got a group of illegal migrants coming in.
This large group of illegal migrants are saying that they're from Haiti. But as with most so-called Haitian migrants, they've been living in Brazil and Chile for the past 5 or 7 years. And it's only now that they are making the journey because they heard that Joe Biden had opened up our borders. Watching the young boy as he's carried off, you can't help but wonder what horrors he's already seen, and those that are still to come.
This is the child abuse that we have so much talked about. This is complete child abuse. You cannot put a child through this. As you guys are going to see later on in the footage that Ben and I are going to provide for you guys are going to see how horrific that journey is. And imagine putting a child that we have said consistently, this is child abuse. And they say there's a big group of women and children that is coming behind.
It's 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. and had a group of what they claim to be Haitians. We see this, they may all be Haitians, but we're seeing many from Cameroon, many from West Africa coming across as well. This was all men, 2 women, and 2 children. And just watching that poor little child be bathed right here and then carried like a sack back over to the group is just heartbreaking. And then to think that it's all the men here and they've basically left the rest of the women and children behind. So we don't know how far behind, but they said that it's a massive group that's coming through. Just there you go, Joe.
As the day continues, the groups continue to grow, and the water crossings only get deeper.
Looks like we caught up with another group, all Haitians. So what we've seen so far on this trip are almost exclusively Haitians, Africans, and Chinese. You have some people from Ecuador, have some other, a lot of Venezuelans too, but there's a new Haitian wave coming.
And this is during the dry season. During the rainy season, these same rivers can rise by more than 10 feet, making each one of these water crossings a potential death trap.
They don't tell you about this in the travel brochures in the Coakley. I promise you that. They say, oh, easy journey into Panama. We'll guide you the whole way. And then your guide turns around, leaves you, and you're stuck doing 60 miles on your own through jungle, through rivers, and you got your kid for 10 days. They said they've been out here for 10 days. And Blue asked them, did they tell you it was going to be like this? No, they didn't. Of course they didn't, because then they wouldn't be making the money. Yeah, that baby was crying without tears. All the water is gone from its body. Just got word that there's a 15-year-old girl in the group that's lost. They don't know if they left her behind. This is what happens out here. You get in that fever pitch of, we're 10 days into this thing, we got to get there. And you forget you brought kids with you. So now they're frantic that their child isn't here. Who knows where she is? It's awful. CPS, they're going after American parents who want to raise their kids Christian and not have them turn transgender. But you're not saying anything about parents bringing their kids through the jungle and losing them. This is where we need CPS. So now we found out that 15-year-old was actually up here. We saw her go this morning. And so now the two guys, the one supposed father of the infant, they're waiting for them. So they're waiting for the guys. We don't know how far back they are. We got to keep going. The other group's ahead. This is how you can see how people get lost out here. And again, that mom's been out here for 10 days with that baby. No food, running out of water, drinking out of the river. Just bad all around.
Ben and the team leave the riverside and head back into the jungle to avoid the high water crossings. As they struggle at the steep terrain, their muscles begin to cramp and their pace begins to slow down. This is the type of place where one injury can be life-threatening. Sergeant Guerra takes the point lead, and the men in his security detail keep a watchful eye on him, as well as the flanks and the tail end of our group at all times.
Day 3.
Hard. Really hard. They need to shut down the area, and this is why we came over here. I'm completely exhausted. Well, in my own, I talk about myself. I'm exhausted. Cramped up. This is brutal for families. You guys need to stop pandering about this. This is no joke. It's criminal.
3 days, 2 nights. And I think we're finally getting down to where the dugout canoes, they call piraguas, pick us up. Moral of the story is this: don't do it. It's not a joke. If you want to come out here as a backpacker, this used to be an awesome backpacking route. You'd take a week, take your time, enjoy it. It's beautiful. But if you're an illegal alien trying to get to America, don't do it. It's not worth it.
And like a mirage through the garbage in the jungle, the boats appear. And the guys know that they've finally made it.
And you got all the illegals lined up, waiting to get on the boats. And the babies. I'm almost out of words. That was definitely one of the most brutal things I've ever done. And, you know, we did it as fit guys, me and Oscar, with military escort. We had, I can't imagine the people behind me that took 10 days, some of them, to get through there. Just a freaking nightmare. False advertising by the leftists, by the cartels in Nicocli and all over the world. The United Nations, who's inviting this, all of you should be in prison.
I gotta say to everybody that as the first conservative network, I have to give thanks to Mr. Rob Sig, Mr. Rob Shorts, our network, Real America's Voice News. They gave us this task. It is a really strong task to do. To give thanks to my brother right here, Ben Bergquam, who we had our ups and downs in the trip, but it's part of it because I respect him so much, I love him so much, that I understand that he's a leader. And sometimes we need to understand when we need to shut up. But I will tell you.
It goes for me too.
God will tell you, as a journalist that covers immigration, this has been the hardest task. In terms of physical.
Oh, there's no question.
And I really, you know, I will tell you, shut down the Darien. That is what we need to do.
Yeah, and shut down the leftist NGOs.
All of them.
That are inviting this. We need to shut them down. We need to defund them. And we need to prosecute them. It's criminal what's happening here.
But this is the reality. I don't see you over here where people are suffering, a child crossing a river that goes all the way through their necks, going up the hill, you know, a woman with carrying her child, risking her life to going down in a mudslide. You guys don't know that. guys are sitting down just collecting money and demanding that Biden gives you more money, and also Biden being held accountable because he's the one that is giving you money.
Biden, Kamala, all
Mayorkas.
of them. Mayorkas, all of them. All of them. All of them. The United Nations, Klaus Schwab, all of them. They need to be in prison. All right, guys, we're getting on our boat. Our boat's waiting for us. We're getting the hell out of here. Stay tuned. Much more Real America's Voice News, Law and Border, Ben Bergquam, Oscar Blue, the only ones bringing you the truth, shining light in the darkness, exposing the left. Wisdom and favor, that's what we're praying for, and we pray that the people wake up and this ends. In Jesus' name, amen. Muchos, muchos, muchos gracias. Muchos gracias por todo.
He's saying that we qualified and now we can
have the patch?
Earn the patch.
All right. These guys right here. Center front. Center front. Personal escort. The best, guys. We had a special forces escort across the Darien Gap. Doesn't get any better than that. All
the
day,
boats
every day.
are loaded up, and the illegal migrants begin the journey downstream towards the villages and camps that will then lead them further north to our southern border.
Your first ride in Nicaragua, Blue. What do you think?
Cramping up like a mother, man. My chest, my butt, everything's cramping.
Well, let's pray we don't tip over. Long journey. And we're back on the water. Watch out for the rocks.
Holy crap.
Yeah, don't hit those. And all the way down, it's nothing but trash.
And when we get back, Ben and his team arrive in the Amberra village of Canan Membrio after one more night in the jungle.
So even in this supposed slow time, it's absolutely nonstop.
And be sure to stick around for a special musical tribute by our very own patriotic entertainer, Dave Bray, USA.
Alien tape is strong enough to hold this fishbowl on a moving car. Just peel and stick and make anything stay in place quick. A wooden shelf, a basket to glass, rugs to the floor, and so much more. Alien tape sticks to brick, pavers, marble, tile, plastic, even leather. Nothing works better. Alien tape secures in seconds, then twist, pull, and rinse to reuse. You're dying to try it. Here's your chance to buy it.
Call 1-800-283-6780 or go to tryalientape.com. That's 1-800-283-6780.
Another morning, another group of illegal migrants heading for the United States as we head back to civilization.
Thank God.
Thank God. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Shut down the Darien.
And we're back as the guys wake up in Canan Membrio.
Third night, it's morning, 5 a.m. here in Canan Membrio. We're about to head out to Puerto Limon to actually leave the Darien Gap. A little cold last night, but I did, of course, have my MyPillow. That made it better. What didn't was the hacking and coughing. We have another group of illegal migrants that showed up in the middle of the night here. So even in this supposed slow time, it's absolutely non-stop. We're going to head over later. We're going to be heading out. What we hear is most of the people now, because it was so dangerous throughout we've been on because of the weather and the mudslides and everything else, they've shifted to another route, but it's not stopping. It's controlled flow. Joe Biden, we asked Center Front, and they said they can't stop it because of the controlled flow. They basically just have to bring them in, pass them through. That's all Joe Biden. That's all the Democrats. They're not doing anything to stop it. This is also one of the other issues. One of the other major issues is the sickness that's coming. This is a village, Canan Membrio, that last time we were here, they said they had an outbreak of malaria, up to 20 cases a day. On top of that, all the other diseases, respiratory diseases that are coming through, tuberculosis, and you hear it, this whole group behind us. There's a good 60 people here, and we've got a large number of them hacking and coughing, and they've been in the jungle for some of them, 10 days. So it's pandemic invitation. So as they're still talking about COVID, I mean, it's just ludicrous. It's ludicrous. The whole thing is a sham. It's intentional. Democrats are doing it on purpose. They're destroying America and pretending that they're virtuous while they do it. And they're putting these kids through hell. It's just sad. Well, it's morning of day 4. Technically, we made it through the Darien Gap. Well, technically, we're still in the Darien Gap. We're in Canan Membrio. Just couldn't take the boat at night. The river's too dangerous out, but we got through the hiking part yesterday. Ended up here last night. And what's crazy, they haven't opened up yet this morning. But last time I was here, there was only one store in town, or in the village. And now, almost every house, each one of these are houses where the Emberar people live. And they've all been converted to store. That's a store right there. That's a store right there. She's already open for business. Hola. Buenos dias. And all the way down this line, they've all converted these huts into stores to sell to the illegal migrants. So this right here, that's a store. There's a store down there, and right across from it's another store. And of course you have the United Nations tent here, inviting more of this. A couple things. One, the Democrats have basically created a false economy around this illegal immigration. So now these villages have become somewhat dependent on illegal immigration rather than their traditional means of income, farming. They have banana plantations, plantains, plantations. They raise avocados. And now their whole economy has shifted because of UNICEF, because of the United Nations, because of the Democrats, because the open borders left, to basically covering, supporting illegal immigration as a pass-through. But man, I sure do love it. I mean, you come to these places and it's like, that's somebody's house right there. It's awesome. Living a simple life, living off the land, all the things that the left claims they want to do, and then the left comes and does this to it. Totally trash it. It's a shame. So right there, at least 6 or 7 boats loading up. It looked mostly like African, Haitian, and Chinese. We had some Ecuador, and then we had some Somali. I believe there were a couple Somali women in there as well. So it's nonstop. No matter what they're saying out of Washington, D.C., it's nonstop. Joe Biden did this. The left did this. It's an invasion of America. It's the destruction of our country, but it's also an invasion of these countries, Central America, South America, Panama. These guys center front, fighting every day. The narco-terrorists that use these people, they also get paid by these people, the illegals, to run their drugs. So this is, it's all connected.
Nearly 3 hours later, the boats arrive at Puerto Limon as Michael Yan and Chuck Holton, a former Army Ranger and war correspondent, wait to greet Ben and Oscar.
We made it. We made it. That's all that matters. Muchos gracias, Sergeant Guerra.
Okay.
Huge shout out to these warriors who stand up on the front lines in Panama for their country, like our Border Patrol in America. We just need to be able to have them do their job, let them do their job. Muchas gracias. God bless you, sir.
It's a pleasure for us to be serving as center front to bring security to all of you. And thank you for trusting in us.
Muchas gracias.
Okay.
Subteniente Guerra, bomba y plena.
Bomba y plena.
Back in Puerto Limon, and just like last time, we got a transport vehicle sent by Secretary Mayorkas and Joe Biden in their controlled flow effort. They're going to take all these people from here to the processing center and then ship them through Panama to Costa Rica and then further north, non-stop. Somalia, Ethiopia, Nepal, another Nepal, India. Yeah. How many days did it take you?
Several days, actually weeks.
Weeks?
Yeah.
Wow.
13 days, that's 2 weeks. Almost.
Yeah, 2 weeks. In the jungle the whole time? Wow. Where did you, so you...
Depending with the people and how they can afford, some can make
the shorter.
More and going by boat.
Yeah.
Others don't have much.
So you went the long route?
Yeah.
What route did you come from Somalia to get here?
A lot of countries, uncountable, more than almost 15 countries.
Wow.
Yes.
So Somalia to?
Kenya.
To
Suriname,
to
Guyana, Brazil, Bolivia, Peru,
and then
Ecuador,
and then Colombia.
Yeah, Colombia,
and then Panama, and now Panama. Wow, long journey. Based on everything you guys see, does America, does it seem like the borders are open?
Yeah, we believe so. That's why we are here.
Do you have family at home?
Yeah, I do have family of my own that I would really love to change their life.
Yeah.
With the dreams of America.
Are you going to bring them once you get there?
If it's going to be easy for us,
yeah,
definitely yes.
Yeah. You wouldn't bring your kids through that though?
No, never. That's not going to happen.
Terrible.
Yeah, nobody told me about the jungle.
Yeah.
If I knew, I myself could never do that.
Yeah.
It was very risky.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What's your name?
My name is Mohammed.
Mohammed? I'm Ben.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, man.
God bless you, bro.
Yeah, God bless you too. So you see it there, you know, Mohammed, real nice guy. I'm assuming he's a good dude. You hear they note a couple things. They believe the border's open, no matter what Joe Biden or the left says. Nobody tells them how difficult the jungle is going to be. And everyone I talked to said if they would have known, they would never take women or children through it. That's a story over and over and over. But you won't hear that from the mainstream media. You won't hear that from the left because they don't want it to stop. This is a gravy train for them. They take money out of your pocket as American citizen taxpayers and they put it into theirs. They pretend like they're helping these people, but in reality, they're just putting them through misery. They could care less. Tell the truth. That's why we're here, Real America's Voice. Muchos gracias. You guys are the best.
As Ben and his team fly out, they can't help but think about the illegal migrants continuing north below and how much longer this man-made disaster will continue. Hey everybody, it's Dave Bray, USA here. Some of you know me as the voice of law and border, but some of you know me as a singer and a songwriter, as a husband and a father, as a Navy and Marine Corps veteran, and a proud supporter for law enforcement all across this nation. At this time, I'd like to ask you to take a quiet moment to watch this video for my version of Amazing Grace. And as we do so, I'd like you to pay honor and tribute to the brave men and women who have paid the ultimate price for both our freedom and our civility. After the video, I'm going to ask that you go to DaveBrayUSA.com to find out more about my music and to support my mission. So this is Dave Bray USA signing out, saying stay the course, finish the fight, and never surrender our freedom in faith and arms. So be well, be safe, and God bless. Next time on Law and Border. Ben and Oscar return to Panama to do what no other journalists have ever done.
We're going to do our second trek across the Darien Gap.
It's there that they'll attempt to do the reverse journey through the deadly and dangerous Darien Gap. We'll see the camps that are overflowing with migrants in Baja Chiquito and Leyes Blancas. We'll also hear firsthand accounts of rape, robbery, and murder.
That is bad guys.
With guns?
With guns?
Yeah.
But nothing could prepare Ben and his team for the dramatic ending to their journey.
Says they're just over this hill.
It's a shootout between Senafront Special Forces and the Colombian Gulf Cartel. It's the action-packed episode of Law and Border that you don't want to miss. So join us next time on Law and Border, Route of the Invasion.
Saturday, 27 May in the year of our Lord 2023, we're starting our weekend commemoration of the honored dead. This is Memorial Day weekend, as long time either listeners to the show over at Breitbart Radio or even in my time at Victory Sessions in WABC in L.A., or now with the War Room, know that we take Memorial Day here very, very seriously. In the next hour, not in this hour, I got Jack Posobiec. The next hour, Patrick K. O'Donnell, the leading combat historian of a generation, will join me. And Patrick K. O'Donnell and Captain Maureen Banner will be with me on Monday. We do our Memorial Day special. I want to bring in now Jack Posobiec. Jack is a former naval officer. Jack, I want to talk about in this hour and pick your brain is the one things we're going to talk about with Patrick here down in the next hour is the level of violence in these conflicts.